while we are taking our place, just to come back to Frederick's position, yeah, I think that very interestingly to put a shade on that Internet of Things and making definition. I would be a bit more on a diversity. Internet of Things is essentially about connecting not only a few devices, but thousands, millions of devices. If I take the example of my company, so we are a consumer electronic company manufacturing bulbs, light bulbs, switches, and plugs and speakers. We see at home that there is more and more of those devices. In the beginning of the 2000s, where there was 2 or 3 devices connected to the internet, we are now ramping up. We are around the 10, 20 devices now at home connected, and what we are aiming at with the Internet of Things is thousands, tens of thousands by home. And if you take the example of a stadium, we are talking about hundreds of thousands internet-connected devices in a single stadium. So we are here to talk a bit about those things here today. And we will talk about what are the business models that are working in the Internet of Things, what is today the revenue channel for those business, and then we have I have around me a couple of great companies that have succeeded in this work, and I would like to pass and each of them present themselves and present what is their role at their company, and give us an insight on one business model and one revenue that they started with. Maybe I will start with you, Patrice.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. So I'm working for a company called Michelin. So do you know Michelin? Michelin. Okay. So what kind of products are we doing? Tires. Okay. So that's not bad. What else are we doing? The guide, Michelin guide. So thanks for that. So you might wonder, okay, why are we here, Michelin, talking about Internet of Things? Because should it be tires or guide? In fact, the common factor is around enhancing mobility. So when we launched the radial tire in the last century, or the Michelin guide, it was about improving mobility of people, by providing them the right products, and also by giving them the right information for where they have to go, stop for a dinner or for a night. So the purpose of Michelin is really to improve mobility of people and goods, and clearly Internet of Things is an enabler of this purpose. So this is the reason why I'm here today. So I'm in charge of the digital transformation for Michelin, and I would be happy to give you more examples. But before, maybe should we continue the roundtable?
Thanks for this short presentation.
Hello, Paul-Edouard Launay, Cisco Jasper. Just to proceed forward about what we have just said, I will say that before going to the business model, on regarding just Cisco Jasper, 1 year ago, Cisco Jasper was not part of Cisco. We were fully acquired by Cisco in early this year. And what I want to say by that is that IoT, besides the business model, is today as well a market where there is a lot of financial, let's say, attention to the different companies. And that is what I want to introduce first. Because if we look just at this week, we have learned that Samsung, for example, have acquired the Aman company for 8 billion euro, or USD to be clear. And it is just because the Aman company was very strong in the connected car domain. If we look at October, there have been a purchase from Qualcomm from the NXP for 38 billion USD. Again, the big acquisition. And if we look at just Cisco Jasper, we have been acquired for 1.4 billion in February 2016, but it shows clearly that, at least from Cisco Jasper's perspective, but as well from the global market perspective, there is a big financial and business attention to the Internet of Things. And that is today what we see everywhere, and more specifically, we turn to Cisco Jasper. Cisco Jasper itself is a software company, which is, as I said, is now acquired by Cisco. And we help operators, we help enterprises to launch, to deploy, and to monetize their IoT services on a global scale. And thanks to this software company, thanks to our platform control center, we see that the IoT is definitely ramping up all around the world. And we see as well that, just to give you some example from what we see internally, is that we have expanded our customer base from more than 20% this year, during the last year, and we see a growth of almost 30% or 40%. So it's really a big market for all of us.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Benjamin. I work for a company called Gemalto. I'm not sure who knows Gemalto. So we're a bit smaller than Cisco and Michelin. We're a 3 billion euros company, originally French company. We are a leader in digital security. I think we're well known for our devices and solutions that, we give solutions that build the authentication of people, and that was the origin of Gemalto. So authentication of people, and what do consumers do is that they either connect to a network, they either transact, for example, with a banking card, or they either identify themselves through, for example, an identity document. And obviously, because we're in that world, IoT is a big wave for us, because suddenly the market is really different. And so we are addressing big time, this market. We've acquired two companies in the last 5 years. One company called Cinterion, which is the leader in connectivity modules for the industry, and another company called SafeNet. And SafeNet is the world leader in terms of encryption. So what do we do now? We do 3 things in the IoT. Connectivity still, we connect, so we provide connectivity solutions, actually connectivity solutions for the network providers. We do security, and I'm going to talk about that. I think we've talked a lot about security, so that's what we do, securing all those potential hackings and etc. And we do one last thing, we haven't really talked about it yet, which is monetization. So we help the device manufacturer and the software vendors to actually monetize what they do and the software they developed into the ecosystem.
Hello, Patrice Rayac. I'm in charge of innovation at Valeo. So who knows Valeo? Because everyone is asking. Yeah, okay. So looks good. So for those who don't know Valeo, if you don't have Valeo parts in your car, you cannot see anything. You cannot wipe your screen. You don't have heating. You don't have cooling. You don't have access to your car. You don't have steering wheel switches. You don't have center stack screens. And so on and so on. I forget probably some of them. So I'm in charge of innovation for the area of automated car, connected car, and human-machine interface. And we see that the industry is changing a lot. And these 3 areas are increasingly connected. And I'm working on innovation, linking that, and also making the link with the outside ecosystems. I think we'll get some more details, but to give some ideas about what we are doing, I think we communicate a lot on the automated car. Probably some of you have seen the Tour de France, the Tour from the US, and also the 24 hours of the Périphérique during the Mondial. But we are also active in the connected area, so it's interesting because we are doing the virtual key. So we are replacing the physical key, or we are enhancing the physical key by a key that will be virtual and in your smartphone, and we are doing that with a French partner, which is Gemalto, sitting next to me. We are also working with Safran. This morning you saw Anne presenting identification. We are working with them. We have a general agreement working on sensors and cameras. So we are working with them also. We've made 2 major steps on acquisition this year related to the connected car. First, Mittelstand Unternehmen, so KMU, so PME in French. So it's called Piker, world leader, the number 2 in connectivity, so telematic control units. They are based mainly in Germany, and they will enhance our offering. And last week we announced also our next move, which was we are taking 50% of a very interesting startup called CloudMade. And I will show the video tomorrow morning about the enhancement that this company can do to our systems. But in a nutshell, the idea is to have to enable the personalized and contextualized driving experience when you are in your car. Today, when you jump in your car, it's like the car of everyone. The car doesn't know that it's you with your personality. It doesn't know that you are going to buy a croissant or to get your kids or you are going to work on holiday. Tomorrow, the car will know that and will adapt itself to this environment like almost every single devices will do in the future.
Thanks. So let's turn back to Patrice. And so what you are telling me is that you are connecting every tires, and how can you make money of making and connecting every tires?
Okay, so every tire, not yet, but we are on our way. So it all started with professional customers. So let me explain why. So as you know, the tire is a key element of your safety, okay? I think everybody understands this is the only point of contact between your vehicle and the road. So it's key for the safety, and if we talk about truck fleets, for example, in Europe, so we know that 1/3 of truck breakdowns are linked with tire issues, okay? So there is a huge economical impact beyond this. And we know that 90% of these breakdowns could be avoided if there was a proper pressure monitoring. So that's why we are equipping these trucks with tire pressure monitoring systems, with tire-mounted systems, and so on. We are also working on telematics. So why? Because here, it is important also to be able to offer a packaged service, and we go beyond, in fact, our own tire brand. So it means that what I'm talking about here for Michelin is offering a package of service based on the information you will gather from your IoT on these truck trailers and so on, that would not be linked to the sale of your tires, in fact, okay? It's brand agnostic, okay? So it's a new type of service, and we are going more and more into a business where you are paying, in fact, kilometers, you are paying services, which will be IoT enabled, in fact. Another interesting use case is the mining business. So we are talking here about trucks that are weighing something like 200 tons. They have loads of 400 tons, you know, and the tires here are like 4 tons, 5 meters tall. So it's really, really important for them to have the right predictive maintenance. So here again, we are offering IoT to help them do their predictive maintenance and ensure that they are not stopped. Because if they have to change these tires, it will take them 8 hours to change them. So you imagine the impact on the business of the mining business, which is really, you know, turning 24 hours a day. So all this shows that we can, in fact, embed IoT in our current business models to develop more services and to answer these specific customer needs. All of them are different. Some of them would like to pay it as a service. For the others, we will embed it in our offer, and we will make sure that when they need new tires, we will know it. So that's also good for the traditional so-called business, you know.
Thanks, Patrice. And over Patrice, can you name some of the business that, and is it often that you are creating new business model, or you are? Is it just improvement of the process that IoT is bringing?
What we can see from our customers on the enterprises which are using our platform, we see that there is at least 4 levels of impact on the IoT itself, on the business itself. The first one is about improving the operations. So you mentioned one. I can mention about ABB robotics, which is monitoring remotely his robots in his customer site, having all the diagnosis data which is enabling him to provide additional services. But that is much more for him in order to improve the reliability of the robots, in order to improve the operation on the plants. So that is, I think, point number 1 on the value that helps IoT into the business. The second point is about new business model. I will take an example. It's about Konica Minolta. Konica Minolta is a printing machine, and there are a couple of possibilities for them to get paid. The first one is, of course, the equipment itself. But thanks to the IoT now, they get paid on the number of printed pages, which means that they get connected to their machine. They can as well, of course, till the maintenance remotely on their printing machine. But Konica Minolta, on their contract, considers that they get paid for printed pages, not anymore for an equipment itself. So that is a new way of doing business, and that is a new business model. A third level of new type of business, so it's about services close to the existing product. And I think that Michelin mentioned it about previously. I provide data, even if at the end it's not anymore my products. And I see now, right now, we face that on the market. It's not anymore related to the product of the enterprises itself. It's, I would say, gathering data from the others company and creating one business unit, an additional business unit. And I'm going to give two examples. The one is about smart building. Today, all the building is giving a lot of data, lighting data, for example, from Philips. Schneider Electric, we have been seeing some example as well previously. We see as well heating company. All those companies in the building are providing data. And the point today, and there is a struggle there, is to collect all those data and as a facility manager to provide a better quality of life, so to say, in the office. Which means that today it is really not in a more related to a product, it's really trying to gather data from different sources and to create a new business unit.
Aggregation of data, you mean?
Exactly. And we see as well the same phenomenon which is coming on in the smart city, in the cities, I would say, because some companies try to gather data from the water management companies, from the lighting company, from the municipalities, from the traffic, coming from buses or metro or so on. And based on those data, they can provide a smarter cities or a smarter way of living in a city. And from that, it is definitely a new business which is popping up thanks to the data which is gathered thanks to the IoT.
Thanks. Can you give me, Benjamin, some examples of your customers making profit and business from or creating new business from using Gemalto products?
Yes, and I would bounce exactly about what Cisco just said. I think the typical example, you know, in the IoT and in machine-to-machine, we talk about operational excellence. Yes, so this is something that. Important. We talk about connectivity. So in a car, yes, the basic thing is suddenly your GPS is connected, so you can see the traffic, etc. That's the basic thing. I think where it matters is where suddenly you, I mean, our customers, they develop a new way to in the relationship with their customers, customer intimacy. And I think the tires example is an excellent example. I mean, once again, let's focus on the automotive because it's an interesting example. So suddenly, you know exactly at any time the pressure of your tires. You can be warned what your tire is going to happen. You have statistics about usage of the tires, cost of usage of tires, number of kilometers if you're a truck company. And if we take in the example the consumer now, for example, the virtual car key, it's a great example. Suddenly, my car is there. I don't know, I'm not driving back to Marseille tonight, I'm going to leave my car, but a friend of mine in Montpellier, I can just send him actually a kind of protected message on his smartphone and he's able to actually use my car. And suddenly, I mean, you're really changing the product itself, which is the car. And I think the best example we have with our customers is really that when they don't only focus on reducing the cost or looking at the existing services, but just revolutionize a bit their product and the way the consumer is acting with their product.
Can you give us your point of view at Valeo on improving your business model or improving what's your take on IoT is bringing to you? Is it more improving the customer relationship, or is it improving your business model in the end, or your relationship with your OEMs?
I think there is a lot of facets, and my mission is to build a platform, the architecture that will enable to give the car the power of internet and the power to change itself and to be contextualized and personalized. In terms of business model, we have a lot of customers, and they will have a lot of business models themselves. We see an increase in the number of customers. We have a lot of new customers in the valley, like Tesla, or there are others coming with new electrical car that could be also potential customers. I think there is Faraday Future, Atevia, and so on. So there is a lot of new players, and also the one who are reinventing the mobility. They are also coming to us to have sensor solutions and equipment for their car. So I think business model is important, but I think it will be made in collaboration with our customers, and the focus number one is to provide the architecture to be able to provide something. So, and I think we are just at the beginning to see how much more we can do once the infrastructure is in place. And I'm also in my team in Paris, a car lab, where we are using design thinking, and we're using we are working with the end user to understand where is the value. Does it make sense? Because there are a lot of solutions. Yeah, okay. You know, if your car is going to break down, yeah, okay. I've got a lease car. The only thing I want is never to go to one dealer for 3 years. That's the only thing I want. All the rest should be completely transparent for me. So I think right now we are still at the very beginning of the thinking and to understand what is going to happen. And the one who are going to win are the one who are going to really provide value for the end user. So that's our belief.
Yeah, but building a platform is for you a way to improve at some point a better link between the end customer and the brand of the car.
I would maybe rephrase it. We are not building the platform. We are all together building a big platform.
Yeah.
And we are just a small brick that has to be compatible with all the other bricks of this huge platform that is currently occurring. And I think one of the problems also is that it's occurring everywhere. You know, I'm in charge worldwide. We have more workers. We have a lot of people in China, in the US, Mexico, and so on. Our playground is global, and when we talk about connected car, automated car, human-machine interface, it's for everyone. So,
but let me play the devil advocate. Is it to build a huge platform, but at some point of time, Google will give you access to it if you pay 20% revenue of your revenue to Google?
No. I'm not seeing it. It's like platform as a devil. I said we are building bricks that you can use as you want, and some customers are just buying our sensors. The others are buying the sensors plus the fusion with our other sensors, because we are doing ultrasonic sensors, cameras, radar, laser scanner. We would dream to have people buying all our sensors on one car, but usually they choose Valeo plus another one or plus a third one, and we are used to be part of an ecosystem where things have to be compatible somehow. What we see is that the standards coming from the consumer electronics, from the telecommunication industry, are massively imported in our space, the automotive space, and we have to find a way to be compatible with that. I go to the teams and I say, now you do something which has an API and SDK, and say, what? What are you talking about? Yeah. There are other people that may be interesting to use your components, your display. We presented at CES in January 2015 the cockpit of the future, when the car will be both automated and still manual. So we have to switch between the modes, automated mode and manual mode. And we say, okay, for that we need to have reconfigurable controls. And the best way to have something that is reconfigurable is to use screens instead of buttons. So we did the steering wheel with small screens on the steering wheel where we can completely reconfigure the human-machine interface. And I can imagine that some startup will have great ideas in Israel, China, Chile, or somewhere else, just by looking at the way Valeo is thinking about the cockpit of the future.
And is those APIs, those new way to interface with devices, or the data that are gathered, is it bringing new ideas for creating new tires on your side?
So yes, so we are, of course, we are analyzing all these data. So I'm not going to give you some secrets about the tires to come. So there will still be some air inside, you know. And no, thinking about the theme of this day, I was really thinking that there is one point that I would like to highlight is, you know, we are talking about Internet of Things and trust, you know. And one of the beliefs that we have is that with IoT, the interesting thing is that you can give back transparency to your customers as well. So talking about the business models themselves, today we have some of our service offers where we are committed to the results. And as we are sharing the data on both sides, if we do not reach the thresholds that we have by contract, well, we will give back the money, you know. So this is, I think, this is also the kind of trust we are talking about. You know, IoT can be win-win on both parts to increase this trust, this business trust, in fact.
Yeah, coming to the privacy, maybe you want first, you, Benjamin, want to talk about the other aspect, the security. Is it a big hurdle for the Internet of Things to handle this security? Is it another cost that we have to add into our business models?
Another cost, I mean, I will let that to the analyst, but I think I've read a lot of reports saying that security will cost less than 1% of the overall thing. So I don't think cost is a real big thing. Security, even if security needs to be everywhere in the IoT, so it will not be a hurdle if we start now. I think there's been a lot of, the good thing is the hackers have waken up everybody. So once again, a lot of things in the automotive you must have seen. I mean, the Tesla, the Jeep, the usage-based insurance, you know, those little connected device that you put in your car, you know, for your insurance to see if you're a good driver. I mean, you see that a lot of hackers have used that actually to access to the car. So interesting enough, you can use such kind of device to actually push the brakes of the car. Don't ask me about the engineering of the car, but about the data, it's interesting. So security, it's a big world, but I think everybody's got to watch it, and it's got to watch it at every level. So security is about securing the device itself, first of all. So the device itself sometimes need to be proof resistance. You need to secure the software inside the device. That's even more important. You need to secure the network. You need to secure the cloud, and you need to make sure that the data is secured, whether it's at rest, so at rest in the cloud, at rest in the device, but also when it's in motion. And another interesting fact, and I think it was just mentioned just before, when we talked about that DDoS attack, is the fact that if you want to hack a car, for example, you're not gonna hack BMW or Valeo or Michelin, etc. You're gonna hack a warehouse somewhere in another place in the world. You're gonna go through the core network, and you're gonna come out and then hack those companies and those companies' consumers and etc. So that's the big thing about IoT is everything is connected, and the hackers, they will not go through the main door. They will go where you don't imagine them. And this is exactly what happened in the DDoS attack. It was really well explained previously. Just one more details for the people who haven't seen it. The point of entry was through camera recorders into warehouses in China. So this is the way they actually accessed to the DNS of internet. So.
Talking from an end user point of view, it's a big attack, but talking from a consumer electronic point of view, having the security in place means that you have to ask the consumer to change the default name and default password, and on the other hand, what is the bad thing for them to have this their device open is just that they run a DDoS attack from their point, but that means they just sent pings, but the device was still active. So for the end user, it was not really a pain. It's more for the DIN company.
Exactly.
So yeah, at some point, is the end consumer, at least for the consumer electronics, ready to pay for this additional security?
I mean, once again, the additional security is nothing in the global cost of ownership of the device.
Even if we talk about low-cost devices, because I understand if you talk about a photo box like previously, but if you talk about a bulb, if you talk about shoes or things that can be really inexpensive.
I mean, there are devices at every cost, there is data at every cost, and there's security at every cost. We have, you mentioned user password. That's maybe one of the weaknesses of the current security right now is everybody's thinking about user and password, but there's a lot of, even in the consumer world, there are a lot of solutions, authentication solutions now that avoid user name and password, that actually emulate, for example, a different password and etc. And the level of security can be very high to very low, and on the device side, it's usually not the main cost of security now. I mean, big companies are now putting a lot of security on the core software, on the network, and on the cloud. So I don't see a big impact on the devices as of now.
What do you think about that?
In fact, I would like to move slightly away from security, but about privacy. And to talk slightly about that is about how much I'm keen to share my data with third parties. And if I take, for example, the example of UBI, so user-based insurance, which is today a trend which is popping up into the insurance market. So UBI is about I'm going to pay based upon my driving behavior. So if I'm driving fast or slowly, if I'm driving a lot in a month or not at all, then my insurance policy, my car driving policy, will have a different price. What we see from that is that the insurance company have access to a lot of data related to my private life. I mean, you know where I'm going, you know how I drive, you know maybe if I'm drunk, you know who is in my car because I can be distracted, and things like that. And I think that is something which is quite important for us to consider in the future, is about data privacy. And it can go very, very far because, for example, we got a startup. We know a startup in Jasper named Noto, which is filming or broadcasting the inside of the car to know exactly what is going on and if there is any risk behavior in the car which might induce a risk of an accident, for example. So that is really something that we are extremely far today, or at least there is some use case which is popping up, which is about going into the intimacy of the customers. And then the true question, or one question which, according to me, pop up is about data privacy.
Do you want to react, someone?
Well, for me, there is another big challenge beyond privacy, which is standardization, you know. So, because we are talking about privacy, but, okay, privacy of what? and for the IoT related to our business, so I explained a little bit. We are talking about identification of tires with RFID tags, classical. So this is passive. And then we have active systems like tire pressure monitoring systems that are, you know, exchanging information with other devices and so on. But at the end of the day, for RFID, for example, as far as tire manufacturers are concerned, each tire manufacturer was working basically on a different solution. And if you need to promote this market and to make life easier for all the actors on the market, you have to go for some standardization in a way. And so on our side, what we did is that we announced that we were ready to open our patterns, in fact, on RFID to help this standardization process on the market. So to me, this is really, really key, accelerating this process of IoT by standardizing also the practices and the technologies beyond, between all the actors.
Yeah, you're true that if we want to have thousands, millions of devices being able to talk to each other, we need for them to find a way to talk and to exchange. Do you want to exchange a bit on standardization? Do you have a take?
I fully agree. No, I fully agree. I mean, Gemalto, we come once again from the world of mobile communications and payment, and we need a combination of innovation of big companies, but also a lot of small companies developing solutions, patenting. That's very important. Intellectual property and etc. Bringing innovation, but at the end of the cycle, we need standardization. And I think a very good example is what's happening in the network, for example. So we're talking about. I mean, I think one of the success that will come with the IoT wave is not only the proliferation of connected devices, so the number 20 billion, 30 billion, 40 billion, but it's the fact that the market has been very innovative in terms of connectivity itself, in terms of network, okay? Suddenly we're not thinking only about fixed network and 3G network, we're thinking about low range, wide range, etc. LoRa, Sigfox, 3G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I mean, all the possible networks are there, and I think there is once again there is an answer to the different needs in the IoT, but it's good to see efforts in terms of standardization also, because at one stage we can have 4 or 5 different networks. We can't have 50 proprietary networks in every country, because that won't work simply. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Do we want to take some questions from the audience, Samuel?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Maybe we're quite late, so maybe you can keep your question for the next session, which is known as the mid speakers session, just after the last keynote. I would like to welcome. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you very much for all of you.